The Beneficiary-Controlled Trust, how to protect your heirs from themselves. 1. The problem with ordinary living trusts. Most living trusts work fine, until they don't. They transfer wealth efficiently, avoid probate, and let assets pass to a spouse or children. But here's the flaw: once those assets reach the beneficiaries, they're exposed. Creditors, lawsuits, or ex-spouses can swoop in and take what you meant to leave behind. So what does that actually mean? It means your lifetime of savings could vanish into someone else's judgment order or divorce decree. And here's the kicker: most standard trusts don't prevent it. They pass wealth outright, which also means they pass risk outright. Footnote: a traditional living trust transfers ownership efficiently but leaves inherited assets vulnerable to creditor and divorce claims once distributed. 2. The Beneficiary-Controlled Trust, the smart upgrade. Enter the Beneficiary-Controlled Trust, BCT. This provision keeps assets inside the trust even after you're gone. Instead of giving your beneficiaries their inheritance directly, you let them control it responsibly, as trustees of their own subtrusts. Here's how it works: the trust holds all assets, and the beneficiary acts as trustee, distributing funds only as needed. The assets remain legally within the trust, insulated from creditors. If the beneficiary is sued or divorces, the trust's walls stay intact. So what does that actually mean? It means your heirs enjoy access, not exposure, use without risk, control without vulnerability. Footnote: a beneficiary-controlled trust allows heirs to manage but not legally own inherited assets, shielding them from outside claims. 3. Creditors, courts, and common sense. Imagine your beneficiary, say, your adult child, inherits $500,000. A year later, a lawsuit hits, or their marriage implodes. In a standard trust, that money's fair game. But in a BCT, the funds are still within the trust's protection. Even if a judge gets creative, the trust remains off limits as long as assets aren't distributed directly. Once the beneficiary withdraws funds, those funds are exposed. But inside the trust, they're legally untouchable. So what does that actually mean? It means the trust outlives bad luck, bad choices, and bad relationships. Footnote: keeping inherited assets inside the trust prevents creditors from claiming them, preserving wealth even through legal or marital disputes. 4. The Trust Protector, the emergency brake. Here's where it gets even better. A trust protector can be added, an independent third party who steps in if things get messy. Let's say your beneficiary gets sued. Instead of panicking, they simply step aside as trustee. The protector temporarily takes control, preventing any argument that the beneficiary has too much control. Think of it as the firewall clause. The protector can also make administrative changes or oversee the trust if laws shift. So what does that actually mean? It means your heirs get protection even when they're under pressure, and no judge can claim they secretly own what they only manage. Footnote: a trust protector adds independent oversight, preventing courts from treating a beneficiary's control as legal ownership. 5. Dual trustees, balancing power and protection. Want extra security? Split responsibilities. Appoint a distribution trustee, an independent person, to handle payouts and a beneficiary trustee to manage investments. The beneficiaries decide how assets grow, but not when they get paid. The result? Control without temptation. If creditors or ex-spouses come knocking, the distribution trustee can pause payments until the storm passes. So what does that actually mean? It means your trust becomes a fortress with two gates, one for management, one for money, and neither opens without your rules. Footnote: separating investment and distribution duties prevents misuse and strengthens asset protection by dividing authority. 6. The long game, protecting generations. A properly designed beneficiary-controlled trust doesn't end with your children. It can last for generations. Beneficiaries use what they need and leave the rest inside, ready for their heirs. The trust becomes a family vault, private, enduring, and lawsuit-resistant. So what does that actually mean? It means your legacy grows instead of shrinking every time life happens. You've built not just an inheritance, but an institution. Footnote: multi-generational BCTs preserve family wealth across lifetimes by keeping assets in continuous protected trust structures. 7. Next steps: how to add this protection. If you already have a living trust, don't panic, it can be restated to include these provisions. An experienced estate attorney can insert a beneficiary control clause, appoint a trust protector, and establish dual trustee powers without starting from scratch. So what does that actually mean? It means you don't have to rebuild the house, just add the security system. Footnote: existing trusts can be amended or restated to include beneficiary control and asset protection provisions.